Welcome to the Silent Pantheon, where gods do not speak, they act. Enter the silence and witness their power. The War of Nine, when flame broke the worlds. Prologue. Before the Pantheons. Before the worlds were divided, before the heavens belonged to Zeus, before the sun rose under Ra, before oceans bowed to Poseidon, before the underworld had a judge, there was only primordial matter, and at its center, a spark. It was not light, it was not fire, it was something older. From that spark, the first of them was born, the god of flame. He had no name. A name is a boundary, and he knew none. He did not create out of anger, he created because he could not remain still. His breath became stars, his steps became volcanoes, his pulse ignited the first dawns. Worlds were born in his wake, but power without limits terrifies even gods. The Council of Fear. When the first pantheons formed, when gods began dividing realms among themselves, they realized something unsettling. Flame did not obey order. Zeus saw lightning dissolve in his heat. Ra felt his sun dim beside him. Poseidon watched oceans evaporate. Anubis could not weigh his essence. The god of death could not sense his end. The goddess of blades could not measure his edge. Aphrodite could not bind his heart. Medusa could not turn him to stone. And for the first time, they feared him. "If he continues," Zeus thundered, "our realms will become unstable." "If we stop him," Poseidon replied, "we stop evolution." Ra spoke last. "Balance requires sacrifice." And they chose one, not themselves, him. The first imprisonment. Flame did not understand. "I create," he said. "You disrupt order," Zeus answered. Lightning struck. Oceans collapsed upon him. Ra sealed him with light. Blades cut through his currents. Anubis passed judgment. Death bound his essence. Medusa locked him in stone. Aphrodite turned his fury into sorrow. And they buried him, deep beneath the earth, beneath memory, beneath time. The worlds stabilized. The gods returned to their realms, but none of them ever forgot. They had acted from fear. The hidden truth. Centuries passed. Ra began feeding his son with fragments of the imprisoned flame. He told no one. "The world needs warmth," he justified. Zeus enforced order. Poseidon ruled the seas. Anubis weighed hearts. Death guided souls. The goddess of blades fueled necessary wars. Aphrodite stirred love and obsession. Medusa reminded mortals of consequence. Yet deep below, something shifted. Flame felt it. His power was being used. His heart divided. His creation thriving without him. And for the first time, he did not wish to create. He wished to return. The breaking of the earth. The earth did not explode. It cracked, slowly. Volcanoes erupted across realms. Ra's sun trembled. Oceans boiled beyond Poseidon's will. Lightning faltered. Anubis's scales shook without cause. And then he rose, the god of flame. His body was molten and fractured like a dying star. His eyes burned like collapsing suns. "You lived from my heart," he said. Ra did not look away. Division among the eight. They gathered on a continent already burning. "This is your fault," Zeus roared at Ra. "I sustained the world," Ra answered. You weakened the seal." "We all benefited from his power," Medusa whispered. "Enough," the goddess of blades interrupted. "He stands before us." Anubis lifted his scales. Balance was not broken by one, it was broken by all. Poseidon's voice rumbled like distant thunder. "If we are divided, we fall." The god of death spoke quietly. "If he wins, there will be no souls for me to take. He will become beginning and end." Aphrodite watched Flame, and in her eyes there was no seduction, only sorrow. The Great War. Flame did not scream. He stepped forward, and continents melted. Zeus unleashed lightning capable of splitting the sky. Ra released pure solar fire. Poseidon drowned the battlefield in tidal fury. The goddess of blades cut through heat itself. Medusa tried to bind him in stone. Anubis attempted to weigh his heart. Death searched for an ending. Aphrodite tried to remind him of the first star he created. Flame deflected them, not with hatred, with grief. "I created for you," he said. "You created without limits," Zeus answered. "Limits are fear," Flame replied. And then Ra made a choice. He raised his hands and returned every fragment he had stolen. The sun dimmed, but it became honest. Flame staggered, and in that moment the eight united fully. Light, water, lightning, steel, death, judgment, stone, heart. They did not strike to destroy, they struck to restrain. And this time the seal was not born of fear, but understanding. Flame was bound again, deeper, beneath dimensions, beneath reality itself. Not defeated, contained. The aftermath. The world did not survive unchanged. Half the continents were scarred. Oceans shifted. The sun grew weaker. Death came closer. Love grew dangerous. War became constant. The gods no longer looked at one another the same way. They knew now they were not absolute. There were other pantheons, other forces watching. And if Flame rises again, 8 may not be enough. The War of 9. Epilogue. After the Flame was bound. The battlefield was silent. Not peaceful, silent. The air still shimmered from heat. Ash drifted like black snow. The sky was dimmer than it had ever been. Far beneath the broken earth, the Flame slept again. Bound, but not erased. The 8 stood in a circle, not as rulers, not as victors, as survivors. For a long moment, none of them spoke. It was Zeus who broke the silence. "We have won." But his voice did not thunder. It trembled. Poseidon looked at him without expression. "Have we?" Zeus turned toward the horizon where lightning no longer cracked as fiercely as before. "I will strengthen the skies," he said. "Storms will be harsher. Order will not fracture again." The goddess of blades tilted her head. "Or you will tighten your grip because you are afraid." Zeus did not deny it. "I will not allow chaos to rise from weakness." And for the first time, Zeus was not the confident king of gods. He was a ruler who had glimpsed something greater than himself. Ra stood apart. His light was dimmer now. He looked older. "I returned what was never mine," he said quietly. Anubis stepped beside him, and balance shifted. Ra closed his eyes. "My sun will no longer burn as fiercely. the world will know colder winters. Aphrodite watched him carefully, and mortals will suffer. Yes, Ra replied, but they will endure honestly. From that day forward, Ra swore never to draw power that was not freely given. His light would rise each dawn, but never again by theft. Poseidon. The sea god looked toward the distant coasts where waves crashed differently now. "The oceans remember," he said. Medusa glanced at him. "Remember what?" "That we tried to control what was never meant to be owned." Poseidon's voice deepened. "The seas will no longer obey blindly. They will test mortals. They will test even us." The tides would become unpredictable. Storms would rise without warning. The ocean would remind the world that power cannot be chained without consequence. Anubis. Anubis lifted his scales. They were cracked, not broken, cracked. "Balance is no longer static," he said. "It breathes." The god of death stood across from him. "And death will come more frequently." Anubis nodded. "The world has been wounded. Wounds call for endings." But his voice was not cold, it was steady. From that day, Anubis judged not only souls, but intentions. The war had shown him that even gods are capable of imbalance. He had spoken little during the battle. Now he spoke softly. "I could not end him." There was no shame in his tone, only truth. "He is not meant to end," Anubis replied. The god of death looked toward the sealed earth. "One day, I may have to choose differently." His path changed that day. He would no longer simply take life. He would watch the patterns of existence more closely. If flame ever rose again, death would not hesitate. The goddess of blades. Her sword was chipped. She studied the crack along its edge. "War was necessary," she said, "but this war changed the taste of steel." Zeus glanced at her. "Will you still stir conflict among mortals?" She smirked faintly. "Conflict births strength. But now I will choose my wars carefully." She had witnessed a battle that dwarfed all others. From that day on, she would seek warriors worthy of survival, not slaughter. Medusa. She stood in shadow, her gaze lowered. "We feared him," she said, "so we betrayed him." Silence followed. No one contradicted her. Medusa had been betrayed once before in her own story. She recognized the pattern. "Fear turns gods into monsters," she continued. Her eyes glowed faintly green. "If fear rules us again, we will repeat this." From that day forward, Medusa became something more than a curse. She became a reminder. Aphrodite. Aphrodite stepped forward last. Her expression was soft but unshaken. "He did not fight with hatred," she said. Zeus frowned. "He fought with grief." Ra looked at her carefully. "You pitied him." "I understood him." She turned toward the sealed earth. "He created. We limited him. He felt abandoned." The goddess of blades scoffed lightly. "You would have embraced him?" Aphrodite smiled faintly. "No, but I would not have chained him in fear." From that day forward, Aphrodite's love changed. It became deeper, more dangerous, more aware that love, when denied, can become destruction. The final exchange. They stood together one last time. 8 gods, from different worlds, not born of the same pantheon. And they all understood something unspoken. This was not the end. Zeus spoke quietly. "We are not the only gods." Ra nodded. Others watched. Poseidon's voice rolled low, "And others will come." Anubis closed his scales. "Balance will call them." The god of death whispered, "And next time, it may not be flame." Aphrodite looked toward the horizon. "The worlds are connected now." Medusa added, "And cracks remain." The goddess of blades lifted her sword. "Then we sharpen ourselves." Deep beneath the earth, beyond stone, beyond light, beyond judgment, a faint ember glowed, not raging, not extinguished, waiting. The silence has spoken. If this legend moved you, leave a like, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the Silent Pantheon. The gods are not finished yet.